everyone. Welcome to this week interview. I'm welcoming Grant Hearn, a third generation driver. Hi, Grant.
Hello.
Hi. Like I said, you are a third generation. So your grandfather raced outboard and your dad also. And you started when you were 9, I guess?
Yes.
So how did all it happen in your family? You grew up surrounded with outboard boats. And then when you got older, you got involved in inboard, but nobody in your family raced inboard, right?
Right.
So explain us how did it all played out in your family.
Yeah, for sure. So, as you said, kind of carrying on the family tradition as a third generation powerboat racer. I started at the young age of 9. And the Hearn legacy really began in the 1930s with my grandpa, Steve Hearn, who built and raced his own boats in the stock outboard category. And then the legacy was passed on to his son, my dad, Richard Hearn. And my dad grew up racing in the stock outboard category and then eventually transitioned into tugboat racing, where he earned many notable accomplishments, like being a 4-time Le Mans winner in the 24-hour race in France, which is pretty cool. Then after he stepped down from racing to kind of focus on his career, the Hearn legacy was inevitably passed on to me. And throughout my stock outboard racing career, I've earned multiple world records, a couple national championships, and been inducted into the Hall of Champions. But after 10 plus years racing in stock outboard, I transitioned into inboard racing, joining the HRL league, I think in 2017, when my dad decided to put together the Hearn Motorsports fleet, which now holds 2 Formula 2500s, 2 H350s, and a Grand Prix boat.
So your dad never raced inboard?
No, he never raced inboard, just stock outboard and tugboat.
Okay. What class of outboard did you race?
So I started out in the J category, and then I moved into the A category.
Always inboard, never runabout?
No, I raced both hydro and runabout. So
how did you transition between outboard and inboard? How did it go for you?
It was interesting because it was a different feeling. But I still had a lot of experience under my belt. So it definitely helped me out inboard, knowing how to start and read water conditions and stuff like that.
What made your father decide to try the inboard?
I think he's ready to try something different. And I think an opportunity just presented itself and he went after it.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have one sister. Her name's Lauren.
Does she race?
She does not race, but she has gotten into a stock outboard before. That was kind of a one and done deal, but it's pretty cool to see her get into a boat.
She was not personally attached to the sport as you were, I guess.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Since you are the third generation, your father raced. Does he have any sibling, and were they involved in the sport also?
Yes, he does. So he has one brother and one sister, Ed Hearn and Beth Hearn, and they both race stock outboard. Ed, actually, his brother just stopped racing a couple years ago to kind of get his daughters involved, which has been pretty cool to see. But yeah, they both race throughout their lives in the stock outboard category.
So do you have any cousins racing also?
Yeah, so my cousin Rylan, he's been racing with me kind of throughout my career, and same with Tori.
Okay, so it's nice to see it's really a family affair in your case, not just the family of racing, but the family in the family.
Right, exactly. And then of course there's Ed's kids, which I've never raced against. But they're racing in the J and A categories now and doing pretty well. So it's cool to see them race as they're growing up, and kind of coach them where I can, help out.
So it's new kids coming along in the family racing. When you get married and if you're planning on having a kid, will they be involved in the sport? Will you be supportive in them racing? As you were supported?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I really thought that far, but when the time comes, I'm sure I'd love to get them into racing, of course, if my wife allows them to.
Are you are you married? You're still in college, so probably not married yet, but
Right.
do you have a girlfriend?
I don't.
You don't. So you're single and seeking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hearn legacy, the boat color, is it something that was part of your family for a long time? Were those color always the color of your family?
So the colors, I'm not too sure. I think that's some we just decided on that we really liked, and it kind of stuck. But more so like the legacy with the whole name behind the Legacy One. I think very few people understand really the significance behind the legacy, which is really the foundation of my race team. But I mean, the true nature of this legacy has kind of extended itself outside of blood relations and really just encompasses those who have become family throughout our generational racing ties over the past 65 years. I mean, for this family, hydroplane racing is much more than just putting on a fast boat on the water and really pulling for a win. It's it's kind of become a bond that's really held us together over the years, and where memories have been made, victories have been celebrated, and dreams have become one. And that's kind of where our team motto, "One team, one dream," stems from.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You said your dad raced outboard. Has he ever tried the inboard? Was it something that he wanted to do sometime, or is he planning on testing one of the boats, because you have multiple boats now in different categories?
Right. I don't think he's planning on getting on the boat or in any of the boats. I'm sure he'd like to. Maybe not race, probably just go for a ride and testing, but I'm not sure. Yeah, no plans as of right now, but I think it'd be cool to see him get into one.
Is he still racing a bit?
No, he'll occasionally hop into a stock outboard ride. He actually tried to get into one this summer, but that kind of fell through. So
Have you had a chance this summer to race inboard or outboard over in the States?
yeah, so I have had a couple races, one or two in stock outboard, and then one in inboard. The one in outboard was Constantine, Michigan. So that was a lot of fun. This is my first time in a boat. I mean, it's probably been like 2-3 years in a stock outboard. But then I competed in Cambridge this summer, where I had a couple first place heats, and despite having some motor issues during the other heats and not finishing quite how we really would have liked to, but it was a good show up. I think there were about 8 2.5 boats.
So over the last 2 summers, did you do any work on the boat, change anything, set up or engine wise? What the preparation are for your next season?
Yes, definitely. We've done a lot of preparation and tweaking the boat setup and motors and playing around with props. Definitely a lot of testing and kind of just getting the boats together, trying new stuff, and yeah, a lot of preparation.
Since you grew up around boat racing, were they any role model, any driver that you were inspired in?
Yeah. So I think my first HRL race was Valleyfield in 2016, where I got to watch Donnie Allen drive our H350, and that was really a big inspiration for me getting into the league shortly after.
in other classes? Were there any other inspiration from early on, maybe? Was it 2016? Was it your first time attending an inboard race? Or were you, did you attend any inboard race before that one?
I may have been to an inboard race through APBA prior to that, but it never really struck me that maybe one day I was gonna get into an inboard until that my first HRL race in Valleyfield. So
Any boat sheen, the paint that you really like, that you that pop ups to your mind, a paint scheme that you just love, except yours,
um,
maybe.
yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of pretty boats in the HRL fleet. I think one that sticks out to me, just off the top of my head, is Dylan Runny's boat, and Roger Mahan, the Pleasure Seeker. It's a really pretty boat. So,
Think talking about racing, what is your favorite HRL race site and why?
oh, I'd have to say definitely Valleyfield, just because of the big competition. All the race fans, like when you get out in the water and you look over at the grandstands, it really hits you. You're like, wow, like there's a lot of people watching me right now. But even off the water, like the fun events and the festival at night, just all around, it's a really awesome race.
And the race course that you feel is the most challenging or the most difficult for you, which one will it be?
Um, hmm. Well, I think for any driver, both Rockville and Tonawanda courses are difficult to drive on, but there aren't really any races that we particularly struggle with. I mean, the biggest thing to get right is just figuring out boat setup and kind of what props to run at all the different races, which we've come to learn pretty quickly.
Good. Um, Outside of racing, what do you do? We kind of see that it looks like a dorm room behind you.
Right.
So you're still in college?
Yeah, so I actually graduated from with a bachelor's degree already, but now I'm currently studying to get my master's degree, and it's like an MBA, focused on like business leadership and communication. But on top of that, I also work as a research analyst in the financial market. But in my free time, I mean, just other than boat racing, I guess I could say that I just enjoy spending time with my friends. And if I'm up at my lake house going out on the boat, it's always a good time.
Do you play or enjoy any other sports?
Um, I do not play any other sports. I used to play lacrosse. So that was always a big sport for me other than boat racing. But I mean, getting into boat racing at the young age of 9, it's always been my main sport and something I've always been passionate about.
Do you do workouts?
When I have time to, not routinely, but occasionally.
Do you ever get sore after a race?
Um, yeah, I would say I get sore here and there.
Probably if the water is rough, you have to
Right.
work with more with your body, especially in the outboard classes. It's more physical than inboards, I guess.
Right. Yeah, it definitely depends on the water conditions and how hard I have to drive if I'm coming from the back of the pack to the front or stuff like that.
Uh, do you have a routine when you go racing before you get into your boats? Is there a routine that you have to do? Superstition, maybe?
Not really any superstition or general routine. I mean, one thing I like to do is I'll get up in the morning and go check out the race course. So I'll see how the buoys are set up, read the water conditions, and then something I like to do is also watch other boats, particularly in my category race, and maybe get starting times off of them to kind of get an idea where I need to be on the start for when I hit the water.
Do you have a favorite food during a race weekend?
During a race weekend, some I definitely miss is the grillade. Grillade sandwiches.
I was kind of expecting poutine.
Yeah, poutine as well, but for sure the grillade sandwiches.
The grillades in Valleyfield, yeah, they are great piece
Right.
of meat. Are you more a Bud Light or Coors Light?
I'd have to go with Bud Light.
Did you ever fail the breathalyzer?
No, I actually don't believe I have, but I'm sure I've come close.
Because how old are you now, right?
22.
So in the States, you just been allowed to drink for a year now. It's 21
Right.
in the States. So when you were in Canada, you had the opportunity to drink younger.
Yes, definitely.
Do you prefer your meat well done, medium or rare?
Medium rare.
Medium rare.
Yeah.
With fries
Um,
or mashed
yeah,
potato? Or baked
I
potato?
I'd probably go with baked potato.
And your fries, do you eat mustard with them or ketchup?
No, I'm a big ketchup guy.
Ketchup, yeah. Um, are you religious?
I am not.
You're not. Your favorite city to live in?
Favorite city that I've lived in?
Or who you would like to live in?
Oh, okay, that's a tough one. Maybe New York City.
Why?
Um, well, as far as what I want to do for my career, just kind of going into the financial industry, I think there's a lot of good opportunities up in New York City, and it's also a good time up there. So,
Good. Who do you think is the youngest driver in their HRL?
the youngest driver, um, probably someone in the 2.5 class, but I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
I know when I got into inboard racing, I was always one of the youngest drivers. But I know that there's some younger drivers now in the 2.5 category.
Probably it will be Aiden Sovey.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was gonna say Sophie, but I wasn't sure.
Do you have a favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but a TV show I really like is a show called Billions.
And it's about?
Um, it's about this big hedge fund manager who goes head on head with the U.S. District Attorney. So, yeah.
Related with business. Your fellow. Beside your engine builder, who do you think is the best engine builder in the HRL?
The best engine builder in HRL. I'm definitely gonna have to go with Paul Barber there.
For you, as a radio person, what is the role he has to play for you? What do you expect your radio person to, the information that he has to translate to you?
So my radio person has always been my dad, and he does a phenomenal job with it. I mean, just kind of communicating where the boats are out in the water, where we had discussed our start times would be on different pins, and just kind of strategy for how to get around other drivers.
So it's really a family affair for you guys.
Yes, definitely.
What type of music do you like to listen?
I really like all kinds of music. I mean, rock and roll, rap, electric music, pop, really anything.
Do you have a favorite artist
Favorite artist?
or group, musical group?
I'll have to go with I'll go with AC/DC.
Oh, it's not from your era of time.
No,
It's
it's not.
do you have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'll have to go with Interstellar.
Okay. Do you, do you think all of this? No, sorry, I forgot about this. Who has the best HRL start?
The best HRL start?
Yeah, who's the best driver for the HR for start? On in your opinion?
That's interesting. I don't know. There's a lot of good starters out there, a lot of good drivers. But that's a tough question. I guess I'm gonna go with myself.
No problem with that. Who's the driver that gives you the most rivalry? Who's your best competition?
Best competition. That's tough. Maybe Bobby King or Scott Lakeout.
What is your best memory? The best race you have, the race you're the most you have the best memory of?
Best memory of
the most proud of this race, or is there any race that pops up in your mind that says that was my best race ever so far?
Maybe Brockville in 2019. For what I remember, I did pretty well, and that was a fun race for me.
Was there a big rivalry with another driver, or was it a close race, or why it makes it so great for you?
Well, for one, Brockville, I mean, it's tough driving on it, and I think it's a lot harder for more inexperienced drivers to kind of figure that out. But I don't know, just the water conditions in Brockville is just fun for me to drive on. It's kind of where the boat's just like leaping out of the water, and being able to control that with the canard is just fun. Yeah, there was some tight competition, and our boat was running really well that weekend. I had fun with it.
Good. If we're talking about competition, this season we don't have a championship, but most likely next year we'll have a championship. Who do you think will be our leader in every classes for the championship, the next championship? So if we start with the Grand Prix, who do you think as the lead?
Okay. For the Grand Prix, well, I mean, it's been exciting to see kind of the new boats join this class, which makes it difficult to kind of project who will come out on top at the end of the season. But I'm going to have to go with Brandon Kennedy in the GP14.
It would be nice to see that boat really going out.
Yes, definitely.
In the H350?
Oh, wow. Okay. I think this is going to be the toughest one. But I think it's going to come down to either Donnie Allen in the H14 or Paul Barber in the H52 for first and second place.
We see a pattern come here.
Yeah.
Nice. Confidence is good in the F in your class.
Okay, well, we're really going to see a pattern here. But I think it's always been tough competition, of course, in the Formula 2500 class. So I mean, a lot of the time it comes down to the last race of the season. But obviously I would have to pick myself in the F14.
Who will be your competition? Who will be second?
Who would be second? I'll go with Bobby King.
Okay. And the 2.5, the S class.
S class.
You don't have boat in that class.
No, I really don't. I'm not too sure. I'm not too familiar with those drivers. But given that Aiden Sovey's the youngest, I'm gonna go with him.
Good. And in the GSS.
In the JSS, I'd have to pick Brandon Kennedy and Mason McClure in the JS 35. Well, that is if they ever finish building it, but
Okay, they're still working on the boat.
I think they are.
But they still have a all winter to complete
Yeah,
it.
they still have some time.
That was fun. That was fun. I really appreciate the fact that you're supporting your team. What is your biggest dream?
My biggest dream. We'll go with winning Valleyfield.
And your biggest fear?
Biggest fear. I don't really have a lot of fears, but I guess if I were to name one, maybe being out front in Valleyfield in the finals and spinning out or anything else for that matter.
Good. Right. It's kind of be a shame just doing that or finding out that you jumped the gun.
Yeah, that too.
Are you more a type of a cat type or dog type?
Dog.
Dog, prefer small or big?
I don't know. We have one small dog and one big dog, and I don't really have any preference. But yeah.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Who do you think is the most funniest driver in the HRL?
The funniest driver. Well, I think I'd have to go with Johnny Douche, but I'm not sure if he's racing anymore. Maybe Donnie Allen.
Maybe he has a side that we don't know.
Yeah.
You have a better view of him that I did. Who do you think is the strongest driver?
The strongest driver. And what do you mean by that? Like
Physical strength.
physical strength? Oh, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Not too sure. Beside your own crew chief, who do you think is the best crew chief in your HRL?
Best crew chief.
Or can you explain what can make a good crew chief? Maybe that would be
a good crew chief. Really just supporting your driver, and if you have any experience coaching him, and I guess not screwing up, making sure the boat's ready to get in the water, and you're going to put on a good race, stuff like that.
Who do you think has the best uniform in HRL? Except your team. You're all over the pit.
I won't pick my team for everything. Best uniform. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay, that's fine. In your spare time, except boat racing,
Right.
Is there anything you do in your spare time?
I mean, other than just kind of hanging out with my friends, usually when I'm not in school, I'm up at my lake house. So I like to go out on the lake and kind of cruise around in my boat and do water sports. And then my parents also have a house down in Charleston, South Carolina. So if I'm down there, I also like to spend time out in the boat or just kind of hang out in the pool.
Any fishing when you're on the boat or just water sports?
I'm not a huge fisherman, but I do enjoy it. to be quite honest, I'm more of a catcherman than a fisherman, but I enjoy catching the fish. Not so much having the patience to wait for them, but
Do you prefer seafood or meat?
I like both, but I'm a big seafood guy.
Big seafood guy. What is your best seafood meal?
Best seafood meal. Probably fish. And if I were to pick a particular fish, maybe grouper or swordfish.
Good. Thank you for your time. Kind of sum up a little bit of all the questions that I have. We'll hope that you'll have a great session in school and that your master degree will go along. But I'll give you a few moments if you have any thanks that you want to express. I really appreciate your time and thank you very much. So
Thank you.
I give you a few moments.
Okay. Yeah, I do have a couple people. I mean, first and foremost, I think I'd like to thank my dad, the captain of the team, really for all that he does, putting this together, this team, and coaching me on driving and always supporting me throughout my racing career. Second is my mom, the first mate of the team, for really allowing me to race and her endless support. Sobe, our team manager, for everything he does, from driving the equipment to the races, managing team operations, and really just running the show. I mean, none of this would be possible without him on the team. So Paul Barber, for sure. He's our boat and engine builder. But I'd like to thank him for all the hard work he does to make our boats wicked fast and patching them up when we push them a little too hard. Tanner Kunst and Jacob Foster, my two crew chiefs, for helping me get my boat to the races, setting up, strapping me in before I hit the water. Don Allen for always filling up the boats and putting in the drain plugs. I mean, without him, our engines wouldn't be able to combust and our boats would probably sink. But for anyone else's name I didn't mention on the Hearn Motorsports team, I'd like to thank them for all their help and support over the years. I mean, putting 5 boats out in the water isn't as easy as you would think, and without their help, none of this would be possible. Lastly, I'd like to thank our sponsors. First, Hearn Motorsports for funding all team operations and equipment. Then another sponsor is Liquid Moly for supporting our team and providing us with some of the best oils and lubricants in the world. And then a couple other sponsors are House of Color and Go Lithium batteries.
Thank you very much. And we'll see you next season, and good luck with your studies. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thanks.